What's going on, y'all? This is Greg with Greg Said It. Back with y'all here on a very special week. It's that week that everybody's been waiting for, at least up to this point. Probably the biggest game of the year. And when we thought about how big that game was, we finally get to see what Colorado looks like. Everybody's been talking. We got to see the final product. And that was a big game because it established something. Because they wanted to write that season off from day one. You're going to lose to North Dakota State. And it's like, really? You look at the scheme, it was there from the beginning. North Dakota State, Nebraska, it was designed to write you off to not get to this point. Where you have the confidence to say, hey, we can win the conference. It was laughable. But here we are at that game. That next big game that I said wasn't Nebraska, wasn't Colorado State. It was this game here. I said, Kansas State. I knew, but I didn't fully know. But I knew that this would be a game that it would be a respectable win. It would be one of those wins where they say you couldn't do. I knew that was going to be from just them last year and just who Colorado was last year. But both of us maintain a pretty decent record. Colorado's technically undefeated in the conference. Kansas State has already lost one. And even though it's fairly early in the game, these are very, very important. Because right now it's only a few that's undefeated. I know Texas Tech has maintained their undefeated record. I know that Iowa State and BYU has also. And we don't play Iowa State and BYU, but we will play Texas Tech later. But the longer you maintain that, the better your chances of getting to that championship. Yeah, I'm sure people are going to have some losses. And whoever maintained their undefeated conference record just writes their own ticket. Some of the teams may have not turned out to be what people expected, at least from a ranking standpoint within the conference. Everybody expected Arizona to be that team, Utah to be that team, and they it's still early, but it's like they've already taken losses that people didn't expect, and some teams that they didn't expect is undefeated, so they kind of have an advantage as long as they keep winning. So we have to watch this thing week by week, and one of those games is Colorado versus Kansas State because Colorado has a chance to be 3-0 in the conference, gets them one step closer, and also give Kansas State their second loss. This increases your odds significantly unless you just blow away your season the rest of the year. If you just maintain, you're in a good position. You will have Arizona left, Texas Tech, you will have Cincinnati, and realistically, we expected to beat some of those games, even though some people say, oh, you're not going to win no more games the rest of the season after Baylor. That's what was said. That's already not the case, but just getting through this game, even though it's 1 week at a time, will be significant. It is a ranked team for those people who say you can't beat a ranked opponent. You haven't beat a ranked opponent. You know, the goalpost been moving anyway, all over the place. The goalpost is on top of Boulder Mountain. It's on top of the mountain at this point because it will be exactly what I said it will be. It will be a game where you will put your flag in the ground to say Colorado's the team to be respected. You said what they couldn't do, who they couldn't be, and they done it. So you no longer can do that. Now that will change the dynamics of everything because they've been the underdog and played the underdog role so long. But they've been dog long enough for me to feel like they should be ready. No matter what accolades they get, respect they get. People, they got old people. A lot of these people jumped off the bandwagon or just on the hater wagon all summer and up to the beginning of the season. There's nothing you can say to me at this point. I said, stay where you at. Keep all receipts. I've been keeping mine. Because these games here, going forward, man, they're going to be critical. They can even be critical as if to the point of even having a chance to go to the playoff. We're looking at teams lose. Some people are already on their second loss. Oklahoma State's. We know that Utah took their first loss against Arizona, who already had a loss. And I believe they lost against, I know they lost Kansas State. And BYU is one of those teams that have been putting some daggers in some people. I mean, I know they did it to Kansas State. It's going to be interesting if they keep playing the way they're playing because they don't play us. And they've already beaten some solid opponents. Now, I know they still have Utah, and we don't know what Utah is going to show up. And that's what I feel about this game. This game significantly is about who's going to show up. Not only who's going to show up and be ready to play, but what team shows up. What Colorado shows up. Is it the Colorado that jumped out on UCF? Or is it the Colorado that showed up the first few games with the slow starts? You know, back to the night games. We'll see about that theory. Even though they whooped on Colorado State at night, that was a game that also had a slow start the first quarter. Now, I've heard that Kansas State has a similar issue. I've heard that they also have challenges with some late games so far. And I also had a little insight far as them having challenges with traveling, being on the road. They haven't played any good road games this year. So as much as Colorado have their things, which I point out, we also point out that Kansas State has their issues. Another issue they've had and shown is the challenge in the secondary. I thought maybe they're supposed to have a decent secondary. Not quite. I think maybe up front, maybe a little better. Maybe the linebacker core is the strength of their team. They've had challenges with teams that can throw that ball. We've seen that in the very first game with Tulane. We said that's the first game. But if you get a quarterback and throw that ball, he can dice them up. Also, BYU, from what I hear, throwing that ball. I need to watch them. So what we're looking at is a team, matchup-wise, who they may be decent on the run. They may be decent stopping the run, linebacker core, D-line may be decent. But when it comes to the secondary, they may be a weak area. And I don't know if you want that to be your weak area against Colorado. Like, you can have that weak area against other teams because most of them don't throw the ball. Most of the teams you're looking at are not throwing that ball. But I do know we will throw it. I do know Arizona will throw it. And they got Arizona, I believe. So, only other people outside of that is maybe Texas Tech. Cannibalism is the thing for every conference. And it's not exempt here at the Big 12. I mean, you see the SEC is going through their thing. You know, we watched Vanderbilt sneak up on Alabama. And I believe, was it Arkansas and Missouri? Missouri had a decent rank. So, we're not exempt. They're not exempt. We're not exempt. It's football. Any given Saturday. When you look at a team like Texas Tech, I don't think that they was expected, even though their records decent, they had a crazy, like, weird game, their first game with a team they should have really beat. So people kind of looked over them. And Arizona was like, you know, maybe think about other teams, bigger teams, quote unquote, and Texas Tech snuck them. And you think about BYU and Iowa State, I don't know if people really saw them coming either. And West Virginia can be that team as well. And we don't play them either. So, it's not over yet. BYU, I don't see teams that's really like that team, but who knows? That's on their schedule. It seems like they can ride in smooth. It seems like Iowa State can ride in smooth. But that's if you banking on the fact that Utah doesn't, like, become Utah that everybody expected it to be. Arizona already kind of like, I don't know who they have left, but they've already shown that they could take a L pretty significantly. So somebody's going to be the spoiler. Texas Tech may be one of the spoilers. Arizona may be one of the spoilers. Utah may be one of the spoilers of one of those other teams. But at the end of the day, they're in a pretty good position, along with Colorado. Colorado going up against Kansas State. Kansas State's like on their last leg. Like, they don't want to get 2 games in the hole with these teams still winning, especially Colorado, because Colorado have head-to-head. You really have to beat Colorado in this situation. They are in a must-win situation, being that they've already taken a loss. And the fact that Colorado record's so good. But Colorado, on the other hand, they're in the driver's seat. So who's really the threat to who? I think that Kansas State is a threat. They have the money line on their side. They're expected to win. Probably not by much, but somehow they expect them to win. But Colorado, they have an undefeated season that they can lose. Who really has the threat, the biggest threat? Is Colorado a threat to Kansas State? Clearly, they're a threat to their record. But is Colorado really a threat to Kansas State? That's what people. Is their defense really a threat? Is their running game a threat? Is Shador in that passing game a threat? I know what I believe. And I don't know, it's been a little talk. I haven't really been watching a lot of it. It's been a little talk going back and forth, typical football. At first, they were really quiet and kind of play it low key. I don't know if they want to poke the bear. They got to come to Boulder. Speaking of Boulder, I will be in town that week. I'm glad I chose. I knew it would be that game. It's turned out to be even bigger than what I thought. It's a great day to be there. Even though it's going to be a night game, it's going to be great to be there, to see Boulder, have a chance to look around, but to be there and experience that game firsthand. It's going to be amazing. Because this is a historic game. And you're going to feel it and you're going to see it once this game is over, especially if Colorado wins. It's going to shake up the college football, because they set the precedence where they say Colorado can't beat a ranked team. Colorado can't beat an FBS team. Colorado can't beat a conference game. They're 2-0. If they go against these big dog guys, and there's not no excuse, oh, you caught them the first game, second game, people gonna start looking at them a little different. And there's no longer gonna be, are they a threat to just Kansas State? That's gonna be past tense. It's gonna go back to what Greg said in the beginning. Is Colorado a threat to anybody who contends for the Big 12? It's gonna go full circle. The conversation is gonna be, can they really win it? Because I've seen they say that they can win the rest of the games except one, and the one game is this game. And they still got Arizona, Utah, Texas Tech. People's opinions are starting to change. But like I said, it's in Colorado's hands. All the draft picks and all the Heismans and all of that, they say they got it right in front of them. They're not fighting from behind like they would do in some of those early games. They are in the lead. And the pressure is really on Kansas State. They got to win this game. You got to win. You want to win every game, but they got to win this game. And Colorado got to win it too, if they want to go to that championship. And they don't want to have no head-to-head and have a one-loss with another one-loss team and head-to-head. So we don't know how many one-loss teams it's going to be, honestly. But I don't think it's going to be easy for you to get in that conference. Like people say, you can get in the conference championship with 3 losses. I don't think so. The way these other teams are playing, and then we don't play them, I just don't see them losing 3 games unless their season just tanks. And I wouldn't bank on that, because they'll mess around and be playing each other. And I don't even know if they play each other in the regular. It's weird. They're not playing each other in the season. Got too many teams. Nobody want to see no BYU versus Iowa State for no conference. It's for real. So let's hope they do their thing. Let's hope Colorado do their thing. I'm banking on them doing their thing. Talent-wise, Kansas State they can't hold nothing to them. Their quarterback can't hold nothing to Shador. They don't have the receivers. I don't even think they have the defense line. Colorado is a lot better than what people get credit for, and it's about time they start getting credit. The defense's rankings is moving higher and higher. Like I say, depending on how you look at it, lower and lower. They're being considered close to top 10 defense as far as their run defense. And their total defense is working its way into the top 25. So after this game, they continue to do what they do. There's going to be no excuse for all the rankings to move up. And we're not getting no big head. We just going to show all them receipts, because it ain't over. We're not trying to let our foot off the gas. We're not putting our foot on the brakes. Just halfway through the season at this point. I'm just Greg. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. I got a lot more coming. Probably do a little video blog or whatever. Definitely going to go live after the game. Live from Boulder. So make sure y'all be there. And I'll talk to y'all soon.